So hello there. So this is the demonstration of my for beginners all ability runic meditation and yoga. It's a bit of an alternative. It's not quite yoga, it's not quite tai chi, it's not quite meditation. It is a way of invoking and using the runic energy to help you, and also by doing the stands to help give your body a little bit more flexibility, as it has for me. This has been checked with my own personal physiotherapist, but I always recommend that perhaps you show this video to your physiotherapist if you're going through treatment, to ensure that it's right for you before you start doing it. Now, for those who are total beginners with runes, well, for those who know the runes, just ignore this next bit, but for the beginners of runes, the runes are originally a writing system that came from the Northern Europeans, colloquially known as the Vikings. Now, over time and through the illiteracy of the time, these symbols started to gain in magic, and over the centuries, they have been used for a lot of magical uses. Now, I must always plug my little book, Vala's Pocketbook of Runes. Let me grab a copy and show you. Available to buy directly from me, of course. Just drop me a message or a comment. Anywho, that's my little book. And my little book is about modernising the runes, or to use them in a modern fashion. And that is wholly what this workshop is about. It's about using the runes to help us in modern times. So for all of us, you know, the reason we're here, the reason we're even looking at this video, is you're keen to better yourself, to better your life. Now, I have a long-term health condition, as many people do, and it affects my whole body. So for you, if you also have a long-term health condition, I must reiterate, check with your physio or your doctor first before doing it. I have found that it has increased the mobility in my limbs, my joints, because I've got arthritis. And also it is as long or as little as you want. So all we're going to do is focus on the first third of the entire alphabet, known as the Futhark, which is separated into 3 parts called ets. So we're going to focus on the first et, which is 8 runic symbols, which we in turn will use as stands in a yoga type fashion. So the first part of this, I will go through the stands and what they mean and what we are focusing on when we do the stand. And then I will give us a moment to meditate and just talk a little bit more, help you to understand your breathing and the correct technique for getting the most out of meditation. And then the final part, I will chant through and also demonstrate the stands for you. So the first stand we do is the first letter of the runic alphabet, which is Fehu, which is letter F. Now, Fehu represents traditionally cattle. Cattle is a plural word. So in essence, we are looking at hard work becoming abundance. And for this, we are focusing predominantly on our hands. But if you're able to stand, what I like to do when I'm able to stand is, as I turn my body, okay? So this is what you would do if you're able to stand. And of course, if you have full ability, really stretch that out, because this is all about stretching and increasing the blood flow in the body and the flexibility. Those of lesser ability like myself, it's perfectly able to do from a wheelchair or an armchair. If your arms aren't so good, do your legs instead. But I'm going to demonstrate the arms because my legs are a little bit crappier, if you like. So we start with the shape, as you can see, one arm higher than the other, and we bring it round to do the same on the other side. And you start off gentle, and then you can turn it into a more fluid motion as you go back and forth. But for me, it is about stretching the arms across the body and up. So one arm stretches across to stretch out this part of the arm. The other arm stretches up, which stretches out the inside part of the arm. And of course, as you progress of greater or lesser ability, you could also use weights as well. And you could also move your arms up and down in this fashion to build up some muscle as well, I suppose. So this is Fehu. Channeling the hard work necessary to bring more to your life. The next stanza is, or stand, sorry, is Uruz. Uruz is the letter U, as you can see, upside down, and this represents a bull or bull energy, and you can see the shape of the bull in those in that cross part there. So what we're going to focus on in this one is also stretching out those shoulders and elbows, so we're getting our elbows up, and as you can see, with limited mobility in my shoulder, I do look a bit odd. So you have to change the stand for your ability. Okay, and if you're able to stand, well, this one you would be sort of going up and down with your legs spread out in this sort of fashion, okay, to continue to create that shape. But for those of lesser ability like myself, I put my fists down so the weight really is carried by the chair, and push myself up and down, really stretching out my back there, or my neck. So you can stretch your neck out, or you can keep your neck down depending on how good you are today. And you can see what you're channeling there is the strength to go forward, because your whole body is going forward. So the strength to move forward. Urus. The strength to move forward. Yearning toward that goal. Next up, as always happens in life, we have a Thurisaz. Thurisaz represents challenges, and most especially the journey through those challenges, which creates experience and wisdom in ourselves. So Thurisaz is about courage, really, the courage to be able to face those challenges and embrace the experience that it gives us. And the start of courage is putting your hands on your hips. As you can see, again, my shoulder's not so great on this side, and you are pushing your back up straight. God damn right I can do it. So you would start like that. Yes, I can do it. And then stretching it up to that sort of winning pose. Yes, I've won, you know. And again, if you are able to use your legs better than I am, you could do that same triangle pose with your legs, perhaps lifting them up and focusing on balance. But for me, this is about straightening the back, and of course continuing to stretch out your shoulders and work on your upper body flexibility. So that is Thurisaz, the courage to face challenges. So we go through, we start with, just to reiterate, because this is where we take a little bit of a break, because so often we need a little bit of a break in life just to assess things. So we start with, excuse me, the aspiration for more, starting with Fehu. The strength to go and get it, to start driving ourselves forward. The courage to face challenges in life. And then we bring it down to a gentler energy with Ansuz. Ansuz is the letter A. You can envision another line here. It kind of looks like an A. Ansuz relates to the ancestors, to the gods, to family, and to faith. Faith in the gods, faith in your ancestors, faith in yourself, and faith in family, whether it be blood or not. So we can reach out and ask for help. And with this one, I like to focus on the waist, so I twist it round, so you're kind of facing that way. And if you're able to do it with your legs, this would be a nice one. You could perhaps start putting your leg up at the back, maybe, to continue to work on that balance. And then twisting all the way around to the other side. Because when we have faith, we still need to look and see where we're going. So this one for me is about moving the waist if you can. If you can't, then of course continue to do like with Fehu, the crossbody arms. Either way, it is about channeling the runic energy through a gentle exercise. So that is Ansuz, reaching out with faith, taking a leap, asking for help. This is the place where I take an official break, and I just bring myself down to think about the first part of that journey to something greater. I think about choosing that I'm worthy of more than what I've got now. Then finding the strength of momentum to push forward, the motivation to do, followed by the courage to face challenges, because anytime you want something more, there will always be a challenge to navigate. The aftermath of that challenge is the leap of faith when you perhaps have no energy. So it starts with choices, momentum, courage, faith. Then as we continue into the second half of the first ep, we come up to Rado or Rido, which is traditionally riding or riding a horse. You can almost see the shape there of a person, their arm out on reins and their leg out on stirrups perhaps. So this is Rido, riding. So this is about taking control, because now we have started all that momentum. And so the gods, the universe is starting to bring us what we need. So now we need to direct that energy to what we want. So this next Rado is essentially about focus. So focusing on. And I will start this time with those who are able to use their legs. You would kick your leg out into an R shape, as if you yourself were taking your first step, you know, looking at the horizon with your arm up onto your head. And even when sat down, if you're able to use your legs, to kick that leg out and perhaps start stretching out the hips there a little bit. And the same on the other side, looking to the horizon and taking that first step towards it. So Rido is focus, focusing on your next steps, being in control. And I'm quite lucky that I've still got quite flexible hips there. So the next part here is Kenaz or Korno. Many of the runes do have two different or several different ways of saying them, and perhaps even the symbols look different, but the energy is all the same. Kenaz is related to, as you can see, the shape of a book, to knowledge. And knowledge doesn't come only in the form of a book, it comes in the form of intuition or innate kenning. So this one is about knowing. So you have your focus, and then at this point you know you can achieve this. So you know it's no longer faith, it's no longer hope, it's no longer all of those things that take a lot of bravery to do. You now know you're going to achieve your aspiration. So this one perhaps is about leaning back, oh yeah, as if you're getting up ready. I don't know about the rest of you, but it takes a bit of effort now. Do you know what I mean? And if you're able to use your legs and you are still relatively flexible in your hips, or if not, this would be a good one to stretch up and then bring down, as if you're trying to touch your toes, if you can. I still can. I'm really happy about that. I can still touch my toes. And that's a good one. It's a good all body stretch, this one. Even when you're sitting down, if you're able, you get a nice big stretch in, you know, almost as if you're waking up and you are motivated to get on with the day. Do you know what I mean? So that is Kenaz, knowing. I now know that I can achieve more in my life. I absolutely know. And then we come toward where the energy starts to build up again, but in a more exciting rather than nervous way. And the next one up is a Gebo. It is the X, and it relates traditionally to the balance of giving. Our forebears did not consider giving to be as an act of total kindness, you know, without, I can't think of the right word at the moment, but without getting anything back. There was always a balance, you know, that a gift should be returned. And the return of a gift most usually would be in the form of a thank you or an acknowledgement that you've truly given something unconditional. That's it, an unconditional gift, you know. Of course, you should never put conditions on something, but there should always be a return. How many of you have felt that somebody is treating you or taking you for granted, and feel because somebody didn't acknowledge that you did something good for them, something of your time, something that took your energy, you know, and they didn't even acknowledge it, let alone thank you for it, or indeed next year get you a birthday card, you know, just as an example, not that there's anything personal there, but anyway, so you must always balance your giving and ensure that you yourself give back and also are open to receive as well, because that's the other part of giving, in that we should not be denying gifts from others, because that only puts them into imbalance. Like, you know, why don't they want it? Don't know. It makes them feel bad that you're not allowing them to help you. So give others the gift of joy by allowing them to help you. As a disabled person myself, or a less able person, I do find it difficult to ask for help or accept help. You know, when someone says to you, "Oh, do you want me to get the door for you?" And most of the time, my stubborn pride kicks in, and I'm like, "No, no, no, I can get it myself," you know. But they wouldn't offer if they didn't want to help, you know. So always accept some help. That's the balance of giving, you know. So we would start with being closed off, because sometimes we can be closed off and overly stubborn and trying to do it ourselves, and then slowly becoming open. And yeah, I know this might be a bit of a rude pose, but you know, it is what it is, because it helps you to stretch your body out. And of course, if you're stood up, it would be a step to the side and a full stretch of the body, bringing it in, and then step into the side, because we are teaching ourselves to not be closed off, to open up to the world. And of course, sitting down, it is less of a movement. So you would take it from I'm alone to I accept more. Yeah, like jumping for joy almost. If you can jump, that would be great. Do a nice star jump at this point. And then this brings us to the end of the et and the end of every journey where we have achieved and learned much. And that is this one. It looks like the letter P, but it's actually a W or a V. So this is called Wunjo. Wunjo is maintaining joy through wonder. So Wunjo breaks up into wonder and joy. And we know that joy, like many emotions, is hard to maintain. But the only way to maintain it is through effort. We can't be happy all the time. There has to be effort put in. Contentment is something different. It's a very different emotion. But the joy of achievement, because we're reaching the end of our journey toward attaining our goals. So this is the joy of achievement. Like lying back on a beach, your hands behind your head, just enjoying the moment. And then, of course, bringing it up, looking forward, ready for the next goal. And for that one, it's stretching your hand out in front. Perhaps as you're stood, you could start with that and, you know, turning to the side, perhaps stretching your body right out there, which is not something I can so much do. But if you're better able than me, that would be a way of finishing your stretch. You just bend your body forward, reaching out for the next goal, because we have to maintain that joy. So starting from leaning back and reaching out for the next journey. So let's just take a moment now before we go into the full routine. And whenever we are getting to the end of a journey, it is always a good time to just take a moment and find your inner peace, especially going to bed at night after a day busy with motivation and planning and doing, to consciously relax your whole body is how often I help myself go to sleep, because I find I'm lying down with tension. So I go from my toes to relax my toes, moving up into my knees, just let go in my hips, my stomach, my shoulders, my elbows, my hands, my neck, and then my head, and then focus on some breathing. The reason they say breathe through your nose and out through your mouth is so you are consciously sucking in as much oxygen as you can, so, and out. And this is supposed to be gentle exercise, so if you find yourself out of breath, just ignore what's going on around you, take a moment, focus on some breathing, don't panic, just carry on when you're ready, okay? we prepare to begin the stand and the gentle exercise as soon as we're ready, starting with Fe, Ooh, Fe, Ooh, Urus, Urus, Thorisas, Thorisas, Ansus, Ansus, focusing on the choice to have more, focusing on the strength to find momentum, focusing on the courage to face challenges, and focusing on the faith to keep going. Continuing now. Rado, Rado, Canas, Canas, Gaypo, Gaypo, Wanjo, Wanjo, taking it from the leap of faith to the focusing and taking control of your future, embracing the lessons and the experience that we've learned that becomes wisdom for us to open ourselves to a greater experience, to more people. We are not alone. It is okay to ask for help. It is even more okay to allow others to help. In there, we find joy, and we maintain that joy by continuing momentum in our lives, and also being okay with taking a break, assessing things, dusting yourself off, and carry on. These are the lessons that the runes teach us. So I hope you've enjoyed my little demonstration there, and I hope you can go forward and find your way of finding peace and balance in your life to enable you to have the courage and the utter awesomeness to be able to say, I'm worth more and I will get it. Thank you, my darlings. Thank you for listening.